and start. Okay, so welcome to today's debate. And the theme for this year's debate series is Empowering Africa's Young Energy Leaders, Harnessing Technology, Talent, and Collaboration. And this, okay, and the program for this event will be opening remarks. We'll meet the moderator and we'll see how it will go. So your moderator for today is me, Rose Gakonge. I'm from the Nairobi section. I'm currently an exam officer for the Pearson and Excel examination in Kenya. The rules for this debate are the lead debater for each team will have 5 minutes to present their arguments. The supporting debater, the debater will have 3 minutes for each team, as well as the closing debater for each team. There'll be a 4-second cross-examination period in between every debater as we go on. And after the debate, there's going to be a Q&A session which will be limited to the judges. And for each question, each debater will have 45 seconds to respond. And the judging criteria will be based on clarity, the quality of being coherent and intelligible, presentation skills, persuasiveness, analysis, evidence, and relevance, which I believe we all understand since we have debated before. And now we'll meet our judges. The first judge is Abdul Hamid Raji, and he is a chartered engineer and experienced energy specialist and a researcher recognized as a 2025 Young Professional Innovator. He's recently co-founded a young professional network in one of the regions in the UK and has been an active member in the engineering community for more than half a dozen years. With his leadership skills, he has driven countless initiatives and projects that promote engineering across the world. We'll be judging 2 of our debates today, which this is the second debate. Maybe Raju can say hi and confirm your presence.
Yes, I can, definitely. So I am Abdul Hamid Raji, and it's an honor to be a judge during this debate, and I look forward to both opposing and proposing arguments. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next judge is Cassandra Dowen, and auditing of optimized engineer at SLB with over 15 years of experience, and she has worked both in upstream and downstream with individuals across all principles. Her research focuses on sustainability and decarbonization, two critical topics of the energy industry, which has led her to one of the inaugural Yale Climate Fellows. She is the SPE 2025 committee chair for the energy transition subcommittee and the director on the SPE Sustainable Development Technical section. And she's the SPE Business and Leadership Committee chair. Cassandra, maybe you can say hi and confirm your presence.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I'm really looking forward to the debate between the 2 teams. Good luck to everyone.
Thank you. The last judge will be Walter Egweze, a seasoned environmental engineer with cross-industry experience in manufacturing, tech, and oil and gas, including roles in ConocoPhillips, ExxonMobil, Amazon, and Cummins. SPE emerging leader, former president of OAU 2015, and the current Young Professionals Chair of SPE Permian Basin, Texas. He holds a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from OAU, master's in environmental engineering from Texas A&M, and executive education in sustainability from Harvard. And he's certified in advanced data science from UT Maccombs Business Schools and SPE Regional Awardee and McQueen's who in American Honored Listee 2025. Maybe Walter, you can say hi and confirm your presence.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you. Okay. So today's debate, which is the second quarterfinal debate, will be between Port-Harcourt and Ghana. And the topic will be international energy companies operating in Africa should be mandated to invest a substantial percentage of their revenue into local research and development projects driven by young professionals. So now we'll meet the teams. The first team will be from Port-Harcourt, and Port-Harcourt is an oil capital of Nigeria and major industrial city in the Niger Delta. It's known for its strategic economic importance and vibrant culture. So it has more than 200 young professionals, and it's famous for its oil and gas industry, vibrant nightlife, cultural festivals, and all the gateways of Nigeria's petroleum wealth. So on to the team members. The first member, okay, maybe the first debater can open the mic and introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eneke Medit from SP Port-Harcourt section.
Eneke Edet.
Eneke Medit.
Okay. Okay, so thank you. And second speaker can unmute and say hi.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is John Victory Christopher, representing SP Port-Harcourt, Section 103.
Okay, welcome. And the third debater can unmute their mic. Hello. Is that Peace or Ranami?
Okay.
The third speaker can just unmute.
Yes,
Pardon?
Hello, the third speaker, Madwa Buchi Ifeanyi. That's Madwa Buchi Ayogu. Please confirm you can see and hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so those will be the three speakers from Port-Harcourt. Welcome. They wish you the best.
Thank you so
The
much.
second team will be from Ghana. Ghana is a vibrant West African nation known for its deep cultural roots, historic significance, and dynamic modern identity. It has a total of 180 plus youth, young professional strength. It's famous for its rich cultural heritage, historic slave trade forts, and stable democracy, and as a leading producer of gold and cocoa in Africa. So we'll meet the teams. Here the first speaker can unmute. That's Abena.
Good afternoon. I am Abena Tenewa Omari, a data analyst. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. And the second speaker can unmute as well.
Good afternoon. My name is Kings Victory, maintenance manager in an oil marketing company in Ghana.
Welcome, Kings. And the third speaker can unmute themselves.
Good day, everyone. My name is Joyce Nadoma Takapoma, a petroleum engineering graduate. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome, and I wish you the best. So for this debate series, Port-Harcourt will be for the motion, and Ghana will be against the motion. So let me present the timer. Okay, just a second. Okay, just a Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so hope the first speaker from Port-Harcourt, Anieke, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, your timer will start now.
According to the United Nations Population Fund, Africa is the youngest continent with over 60% of its population under the age of 25. This youthful energy represents a vast reservoir of innovation, creativity, and a highly capable workforce with an untapped intellectual horsepower. However, without a deliberate and adequate investment in R&D, these potentials remains dormant. Mandating investment in local R&D is not a matter of charity. It is an act of equity. It sends a clear message. If you benefit from Africa, you must contribute to building Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, ex-team monitor, honorable panel of judges, and my respected colleagues from SPE Ghana, good evening. My name is Eneke Mide from SPE Section 103, and I stand here before you to propose a motion that is not just only fair, but also strategic and sustainable. A mandate, not a recommendation, requiring international energy companies to allocate a substantial portions of their revenue into R&D innovations in Africa. Firstly, this mandate is more than a moral obligation. It is a strategic imperative. It ensures that the immense wealth generated from Africa's natural resources is reinvested into fostering sustainable development, spurring innovations, and creating lasting prosperity for its people. Allow me to quote the wisdom of an African proverb: until the lions learn how to write, every story will continue to glorify the hunter. For decades, Africa has been the lion, rich in resources, roaring with its youthful energy, yet repeatedly excluded from the innovations and ownership narrative of its own energy story. Let us examine the number. In 2023 alone, Total Energy reported more than $3 billion in revenue from its African operations. Collectively, international energy companies have generated over $95 billion in sub-Saharan Africa in 2023, according to Real Start Energy. Yet, less than 1% of this revenue was invested in local R&D. Wow, is it not ironic that a continent so rich in resources remains so poor in research? Imagine if just 5 to 10% of this revenue were directed into university R&D hubs, tech laboratories, and even emerging technologies, all led by young African professionals. The impact would be transformative. Creations of economic growth. Startups like the energy grid could expand their rural solar innovations, and Ghana Solar Taxi could also expand e-mobility nationwide. Secondly, mandating investment is not about punishment. It's about promoting equity with accountability, structure over sentiment, and long-term capacity building over a fleeting donation. Consider the example of Ghana, of Norway, where companies are legally required to invest in local R&D innovations. Equino, formerly Statoil, for instance, invested over $2 billion in Norwegian lead R&D within just 5 years. The outcome, Norway became the global exporter of offshore technologies, including to African nations. If Norway can do this, why not Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and even Senegal? Let us be clear. If international energy company can spend millions sponsoring Premier League teams from profits made from Africans, the least they can do is to support the premier minds across African universities. Instead of Fly Emirates, let's see Fund Africans idea boldly printed on those jerseys. Thirdly, we are not pleading for favors. We are calling for policies grounded in fairness. If our natural resources are deemed worthy of global profit, then our intellectual resources, our young professionals deserve equal investment and opportunities to lead in R&D breakthroughs. As Mohamed Bekendo, former OPEC General Secretary General, rightly said, and I quote, Africa does not lack talent, it lacks platform. Investment in its youth is not a favor. It is an investment in the global energy stability. By mandating R&D investment, we can harness most of these demographic dividends by transforming latent potentials into tangible innovation that solves local challenges. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, give a man a technology and he will innovate for a day. Teach a young Africans to lead in R&D and he will innovate for generations. Mandating R&D investment driven by young African professionals is the path toward transforming African young professionals from passive consumer of foreign innovations into an active exporter of homegrown solutions. Let us fund laboratories, not just license. Let us build mines, not just extract barrels. Let us empower our true energy sources, which is our people. Because our young professionals are not just the future of Africa, but they are the Africa finest resources. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Is there any question, cross-examination from the Ghana team?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll take one question.
Okay. So how do you measure the success of these youth-led R&D projects you are looking forward to fund? And what happens if they fail?
Okay, thank you for that wonderful question. Now, let us be clear. If Norway, Petrobras in Brazil have not failed, why do you expect that Africa will fail? Africa has been the major international companies have gained a lot from African natural resources, and Africa has been the major producer. They are the one giving them these natural resources. So if it works in elsewhere, it can also work in Africa, and Africa cannot fail. And the success can be measured through using young professionals, because they are the major sources of this that will lead in this innovation.
Okay. Thank you for that. And on to the first debater from the Ghana team. Confirm you're ready.
Yes, I am ready. Am I audible and can you see me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so
The chair, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, fellow debaters, all protocols duly observed, ladies and gentlemen. I am Abena Tenewa Omari, the principal speaker for SPE Ghana section. Once a farmer found his neighbor to water his crops. The water came all right, but so did the weeds, and the harvest failed. It is for this reason my team and I firmly oppose the motion that international energy companies operating in Africa should be mandated to invest a substantial percentage of their revenue into local research and development projects driven by young professionals. Firstly, such a premature mandate risks failure due to persistent policy loopholes. Nigeria's Port-Harcourt remediation project collapsed despite huge funding due to corruption. It turns out that the Nigerian agency in charge hired unqualified contractors and blocked audits, and this led the UN to withdraw. The 2022 African Development Review reports that Mozambique's gas law lacked clarity on local benefit sharing, leaving many regions underserved. Similarly, Uganda's revenue reinvestment plan faced backlash due to poor local engagement. Can you imagine that the white peas on the ground were left out of the critical energy decisions? And in Angola, the 2024 Energy and Resources Law Review cited that the state policies ignore the market realities like oil price volatility, making IEC compliance difficult in the downturn. Meanwhile, Mauritius, praised by the World Bank for strong governance, continues to attract international investment through its incentive-based approach, underpinned by strong governance and institutional frameworks. This approach has created real opportunities for the YPs through skill development and talent retention strategies. So my questions are: one, can these IECs really trust us with their revenue? And two, Port-Harcourt, I ask you, is this the kind of dysfunctional environment you deem right for young professionals to drive R&D? Secondly, such a mandate could further deter IEC investment. The IEA reports that Africa attracts less than 3% of global energy spending. It also adds that the energy investment into the continent has been declining since its 2014 peak, dropping by 34%. Already, a May 2025 Financial Times article cites that the reasons why the majors are leaving Nigeria's oil onshore is because of dwindling returns. Elsewhere, Angola has seen the light. After reforming its costly tax regime to more favorable policies, Angola has seen IEC investments double, rising by 96% from 2022 to 2023. Imposing such strict mandates on the IECs will further deter investment precisely when Africa needs it the most to build critical energy infrastructure. Thirdly, such a mandate breaks the overdependence of our continent on these IECs. Mr. Chair, after 2023, the African Energy Chamber outlook reports that over 70% of oil and gas production in sub-Saharan Africa is led by multinationals. This dominance limits the local government's control over how resources and revenues are managed. We see that in the case of the East African crude oil pipeline. Washington Post highlights that despite the project's potential to increase national revenue, the foreign partners retain most of the profits and decision-making power, sidelining local interests. This clearly goes against our continent's Agenda 2063 goal of leveraging our vast energy resources for our own development. Esteemed judges, are we not tired that the synonyms associated with Africa, a continent with vast energy resources, are lack, exploitation, and beggars? Please, let us put Africa first with our policy. In a guided audience, let us not misconstrue my words. IEC investment into our local R&D is a good partnership for both the companies and the local communities. However, how can we call this good if the IECs are forced to invest a substantial percentage of their revenue? Namibia's 2024 local content policy offers tax breaks and incentives, encouraging investments aligned with national priorities. Kenya and Rwanda lead in energy innovation through renewables and regional cooperation. Mauritania's hydrogen code incentivizes IEC investment by reducing risk, attracting high-tech projects with spillover benefits for local expertise and jobs. South Africa's 2024 law opens up the electricity market, encouraging IECs to invest and innovate through structural reforms. These examples show that policy frameworks inclusive of market access, partnerships, incentives, and knowledge sharing deliver sustainable results. It is said that he who pays the piper calls the tune. Mandating ICs to substantially invest in local YP-driven R&D projects is not sustainable. It risks IC control, which further undermines our own voice in our own continent and over our own resources. Rather, let us prepare our systems and let us prepare our people by choosing structured partnerships, incentivized investment, and knowledge and skills first policy. That is how we grow trust, grow talents, and grow our continent, Africa. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. There was a power outage. Confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. The first speaker from Ghana was done. Okay, if there's any cross-examination from Port-Harcourt, you can pose your question now.
Okay. Given the persistent underfunding of local R&D in Africa, what alternative solutions do you offer that ensures that sustainable innovations without relying on foreign aid or government budgets?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. Given the persistent underfunding in local R&D in Africa, what alternative solutions do you offer that ensure sustainable innovations without relying on foreign aid or government budget?
I'm ready to answer, please.
Okay.
Structured investment in Africa can enhance this if they are designed collaboratively. Mandates like this will, however, risk one-size-fits-all solution, which may not align with local context. Incentivizing these investments, as well as good collaboration to empower local institutions to negotiate and manage investments, can foster greater relevance and greater effectiveness of the solutions presented. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, the second speaker from Port-Harcourt, you can confirm if you're ready. The third speaker from second speaker from Port-Harcourt.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, you can start.
Okay, maintaining existing standards. I am John Victor Christopher, and I'm here to further uphold the motion that international energy companies operating in Africa should be mandated to invest a substantial percentage of their revenue in local research and development projects driven by young professionals. To start with, empowering youth professionals ensures sustainability. Africa's youth population is projected to double to over 830 million by 2050, and that's according to the African Development Bank. This is both a challenge and an opportunity, as youth-driven innovation has already shown potential. For example, the Nigerian engineer by the name Chinedu Echoro developed Hopstop, a navigation app later acquired by Apple. Also in Kenya, students develop biogas power generators from human waste, showing that local solutions exist when innovation is supported. By channeling R&D funds to young professionals, companies empower a generation capable of leading energy transition, improving operations, and developing green solutions tailored to local contexts. Furthermore, local R&D investment produces long-term value far beyond its initial cost by fostering economic growth and technological advancement. By driving innovation, local R&D helps companies stay competitive globally and develop new products and services. Local R&D help companies stay competitive and also enhances the skills and expertise of the local workforce, retaining young talent and boosting productivity. Also, the intellectual property generated can create additional revenue streams, while the strategic resilience built through continuous adaptation ensures long-term stability. This multifaceted benefit illustrates how local R&D investment yields substantial return, both economically and socially, far exceeding the initial cost. The African Center of Excellence, Nigeria, developed local technologies that reduce dependence on imported drilling fluid. This clearly shows that investing in local R&D builds industries, create jobs, and foster innovation ecosystem. Finally, IECs have corporate social responsibility to contribute meaningfully to the communities from which they profit, and mandating R&D investment is not different from existing requirements to support host communities, complying with local content law, or paying taxes. It will interest you to know that the Nigeria Content Development and Monitoring Board, who signed a memorandum of understanding in 2024 with the Petroleum Commission Ghana towards developing and deepening local content in Ghana upstream petroleum sector. A similar approach for R&D can enhance skills transfer and knowledge retention. Moreover, if these companies truly value Africa as a partner, they must also invest in knowledge capital, not just natural capital. The recent happenings in the Sahel region of Africa, especially Burkina Faso, is a huge call to the moral compass of leaders in government and the corporate world. Africa needs to demand more, and this time with respect. Let us be bold. Let us demand technology, not just tokenism. Let us build capacity, not dependency. The policy is not just ideal. It is essential for sustainable development, economic independence, and technological progress in Africa. I urge this House to support the motion. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for that. If there's any cross-examination from Ghana, you can pose your question now.
Yes, there is. I hope I am audible and I can be seen.
Yeah.
Port-Harcourt, if we are truly committed to local innovation, shouldn't African governments and private sectors lead R&D investments rather than outsourcing the responsibility to IEC? Thank you.
Whoever can take that question can start.
Oh, okay. So mandating corporate reinvestment is not unprecedented. It is part of responsible capitalism. Government already regulates environmental standards, local content, and taxation. Brazil's Petrobras, which have been cited, and Norway's Equinor are examples where such mandate led to global innovation hubs. Besides this, companies operate under host country laws. If Africa can legislate royalties, it can legislate reinvestment into youth R&D. It's about fair returns, not forced charity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And maybe the second speaker from Ghana confirm you're ready.
Yes, please, I'm ready. Can I be seen and heard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just a second. Okay, you can start now.
Honorable Chair, esteemed judges, worthy opponents, and distinguished audience, good day. According to the World Bank, less than 1.5% of African youth are enrolled in formal technical training institutions. 60% by my opponent was said that 60% of African population under 25 years old. I'm very sorry, but if 1.5% of African local youth are enrolled in formal technical training institutions, what does the population even matter in this case? That is why I stand here before you, King's Victory, today, the first supporting speaker of SPE Ghana session, to strongly oppose the motion on board today. Now, let's engage constructively by firstly clarifying the key misconceptions that may have shaped the opposer's view. Now, other countries do it. Why not us? You talk about Norway, but Norway has enforcement. It ranks fifth amongst the world with little or no corruption, according to Transparency International Index, and has elite institutions. Meanwhile, Africa's Pulse report in 2024 shows that over 20 African countries still lack even basic audit systems. Talk less of Nigeria. Thank you. So the second point, this retains value and stop exploitation, as my opponent spoke about. According to the Tribune Online 2022, under the Agbami Medical Engineering Scholarships, Chevron has awarded over 16,000 scholarships, invested more than 7.5 billion naira, and has built 33 plus science laboratories and libraries all across Nigeria. And thank you. The University of Port-Harcourt is a major beneficiary of all this corporate commitment. This proves international energy companies don't need coercion to create value. They do this because they also want to retain locals, and it is cheaper for them rather than flying in expats on 6-figure salaries. Lastly, first, overreaching mandates drive away investments in Africa's already fragile economy. Let's take a look at Chad, for example. In 2016, ExxonMobil was slammed with $74 billion fine by a Chadian court, allegedly for underpaying oil royalties, nearly more than 5 times Chad's GDP. The Exxon Chad example makes it very clear that after Chad left, it was very obvious that overreaching killed the investment. Hence, to reiterate a vital point made by my opponent, by my principal speaker, poor governance and inefficiencies in policy regulation will make these mandates risky. In conclusion, the motion demands from systems that are not ready and risk driving away the very investment Africa needs. Mandating unprepared systems invites failure. Reject this motion. Choose strategy over sentiment. As Chino Achebe once said, he who brings home ant-infested firewood should expect the lizards to visit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. If there is a cross-examination from Port-Harcourt, now is the time to pose your question.
Okay, let's do a cross-examination. And confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, first of all, he spoke about corruption. Now, I would like to say this. Foreign bodies have been investing in R&D in Africa, and corruption did not stop them. So when it comes to our own internal investment into R&D, why should the fear of corruption be a stop? That's the first question. The second question, he mentioned about investment that was done building labs. Do you think building labs is enough to fund R&D? We're talking about multiple research that have been done. Lastly, I would like to talk about the policy. The international companies are living onshore for Nigerian companies. If we don't have existing policies, do you think this transition from international companies to local companies of their assets will be possible? So these are the questions I would like the opposition to answer. Thank you.
Yeah, anyone can take that question.
Okay. So I'll begin.
Okay.
To begin with, CSR are not R&D projects. Research and development focuses a lot on the availability of labs. So if they are building labs, that is funding into research and development. And they did this without coercion or the mandates on the table today. Secondly, about corruption, Nigeria in its 0.5% OPEX already mandates IECs to bring out 0.5 of their OPEX. But in Nigeria and Angola, over 40% of R&D budgets, which is equal to 2.44 billion, go unaccounted for or are diverted. So who do you think is going to understand and pay money into such investments? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And on to the third speaker from Port-Harcourt. Confirm you're ready. Hello. Can someone confirm you can hear me?
Hello, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, can hear you. So
okay. So can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Panel of judges, co-debaters, esteemed audience, Akwaba. I come before you, the third speaker, to further hammer home this point. Africa has resources, Africa has brains, but what we need is mandated investment, strategic and youth focused. First and foremost, the logic is clear, it's undeniable that research and investment will reduce dependency of Africa on other continents. Africa produces oil, gas, and critical minerals. However, the innovations to harness these resources is imported. Why? Because energy players take this proceed, invest it in real estate, or export to profit, leaving behind scholarship, not systems. That's not development. That's dependence. It's like owning a fertile land, but but begging for bread. It goes beyond the energy export. Our best brains are constantly being exported under scholarship to enrich the research facilities in other countries, while our schools are underinvested in. The brain trade is now the new slave trade due to lack of local R&D investment. So our friends in Ghana, as they lead this charge, and I wonder why they oppose this motion, since their GDP has grown by 12% ever since R&D law was implemented in 2013. Ghana passed local content laws requiring oil companies to submit R&D and technology transfer plans. This result included the GMP Research and the Technology Center funding real innovation led by Ghanaian professionals. Tulu has also invested $10 million in STEM education. ENI is backing energy labs where young minds are solving Ghana real energy problem. This is what happens when laws lead and companies follow. And that's why we say make it mandatory, make it measurable, make it youth focused. Secondly, you might say, why the youth, right? This is because we are innovators of today, which makes us the leaders of tomorrow. We don't want to be handed this power. We want to build it. Just like the Ethiopian proverb would have said, he who teaches learns. So invest in young African researchers so that they'll teach the world how Africa innovates. This is an awakening call. Like the first speaker has pointed out, until the lion learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter. So let's stop letting others write Africa Energy's story. Let me include this and also conclude by saying, we are not rejecting energy partnership. Rather, we are demanding fair ones that are built under legal understanding, driven by who have the energy. Fair partnership that empowers our brains, power our laboratories, not just pipelines. We say mandate the investments, empower the youth, and build Africa Energy from the bottom up. If it fails, we know that Africa is going to fail. But no, Africa will not fail. What are we going to do? We'll develop again. We'll go further. Medawase. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for that. If there's any cross-examination from...
Yes, please, there is.
Okay, go ahead.
So why don't we use incentives like tax breaks or policy support instead of rigid mandate? Isn't incentivized partnership more sustainable and effective? Thank you.
Anyone can take that question.
Sorry, please, can you come back with your question? I didn't get it.
So instead of enforcing rigid mandates, why don't we use incentives like tax breaks and policy support? Isn't incentivized partnership more sustainable and effective?
Can you hear me? Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Also, so we understand that revenue has the effect to solve these challenges. So our investment will be banked on the revenue, not on the profit. Because when you bank it on the profit, this is because if the profit is as a result of the deducted expenses from the tax, the cost of equipment, and every other things. Yeah. So we are focusing on revenue. If this investment is banked on revenue, because revenue is it affects both the professionals themselves, the companies, and the government. Everybody pays. Yeah. So if everybody pays, it means everybody is being affected. It also means that everybody solves this problem. And we are doing this because we want to be invested in this. It's for us, not them. So let's all gather together, invest in our community, and put this policy and let it be banked on our revenue charges. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, I thought the mic was on. On to the last speaker from Ghana. Can confirm you're ready.
Please kindly confirm if you can hear me and see me.
Yes, I can hear you. So whenever you're ready, you can start.
Across Africa, we talk of breakthroughs, of youth-led research, of homegrown solutions, but too often we chase the fruits of innovation without actually building the roots to help them grow. Strong leadership Relevant training and real investment in our people are the foundation. And without these foundation, even the best funded idea will struggle to take off. The chair, distinguished judges, esteemed co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joycelyn Adoma Sakrapoma, and I'm the second supporting speaker for the SPE Ghana section. And I stand to reiterate my team stance against the motion before the House today. While the motion may sound visionary and well-intentioned, it is fundamentally flawed because it is a remix of policies we've seen before. Mandated R&D investment in Africa is not a new thing. It already exists as part of local content policies in various African countries. For example, Angola's 271/20 decree is part of a local content policy law, and also Nigeria's 0.5 mandate is part of the mandated R&D. But did you know that in 2024, this 0.5 requirement generated $89 million from Shell alone, while the company simultaneously paid $4.5 billion? And so I asked, where are all these billions used for? Can we pinpoint with all confidence long-lasting projects that can truly reflect the scale of these investments? And so no, the issue has never been a refusal to invest, but a mismanagement of what we have and what we receive. And so how dare we ask for an increase in percentage when we cannot even make effective good use and be accountable for the ones that we've been given already? That aside, let's talk about priority, because that's where the real problem is. According to Igiri et al., he concluded in his research that because policymakers do not prioritize R&D in their various countries, we are left with outdated curricula, poor research skills, and inadequate training. These are problems for outsiders to solve. So are we saying that we are supposed to mandate IECs to also fix our educational systems as well? Ladies and gentlemen, when are we going to stand up and rise to the responsibility of our own development? In conclusion, this motion distracts us from the real work Africa must do. It also overlooks the deep-rooted issues that continue to weaken our research and development efforts. And in addition to that, it also fuels overdependence. We are looking for external support while we can solve our own internal problems with internal leadership. Let me end with the famous words of my favorite Nigerian author, Chimamanda Ngozi, who said, "Africa must get its act together. We cannot always blame the other man for our shortcomings. We must take the responsibility of our own destiny." Ladies and gentlemen, let us rise to that responsibility, because the future is ours, but only if we claim it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Is any question from Port-Harcourt? Now is the time to pose it.
Yes, please. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
First and foremost, I want to start by saying that, yes, we have the capacity and we have the resources. Yes. So that being said, I put this question across. If international energy companies are profiting from Africa resources, what moral or economic justification do you have for not requiring them to reinvest directly in the continent's future, especially through youth-led innovations?
Okay.
Is it clear, or do you want me to go again?
Can you repeat the question? Yes, we want you to repeat the question. Thank you.
Yes, can repeat the question.
So, I said, all right, first and foremost, I want to debunk that statement and say that Africa, or rather Africa, have
whoever
that resources.
James, okay, maybe you can add on again. Sorry for that. Hello. Hello.
Hello. We can't hear the question. Can you please go over the question? Port-Harcourt.
Okay. I also have a question.
Okay, maybe we can just take one from the one who's asking. Just repeat your question.
Okay, so even If international energy companies are profiting from African resources, what moral or economic justification do you have for not requiring them to reinvest directly in the continent's future, especially through youth-led innovation? The question is, what moral or economic justification do you have for not requiring them to reinvest directly in the continent's future, especially through youth-led innovation? Thank you.
Maybe you can take that question, Ghana.
I'm here to take the question.
Okay.
I'd repeat something to the gathered audience once more. Let us not misconstrue the words of SPE Ghana section. IEC investment into our local R&D is a good partnership, but this cannot be called good if the IECs are forced to invest a substantial amount of their revenue into R&D in Africa at its current state. That is the answer to your question. And to add up, R&D local content law in Ghana, which your co-debater spoke about, was based on technology, whereas the motion on board is a mandate based on the substantial amount of revenue, not technology. Thank you.
Okay. And with that, we're done with the debate part of this program. So the next part will be a Q&A session, which will be limited to the judges. So maybe the first judge can pose their questions now. No, maybe
Can you hear me?
Rajiv. Yeah, can hear you.
Awesome. So my question in this case for Ghana section and for Port-Harcourt is in this case, if you're saying that the international companies should not necessarily fund R&D, then how do you then allow them to contribute? Because regardless, there's no economy or country that is not going to have international companies operating in their domain, right? So how do you then say they should contribute to the economy or to the energy sector, right? That's number one. Number two is if you're saying that they should be contributing, then to what extent should you be able to control that? Because we've seen in recent times that most international companies control what is going on rather than the regulations and policies controlling. I would say they influence, don't let me say control, rather than the regulatory organizations and the policies controlling how things pan out. So that's my first question for both sections. My second question is then, to what extent can young professionals play a key part in research and development, either if they're going to be a part of that or either creating local stuff, right? Which means if young professionals are going to be relying more on local content, local research, right? To what extent can they actually do that? And if they're not going to be relying too much on local content and they're going to be collaborating with international companies, then, what does that look like as well? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Maybe Port-Harcourt, you can unmute yourself and answer the questions.
Okay, I would like to answer for Port-Harcourt. Okay, so firstly, when it comes to the investment part, yes, it's possible for oil companies to actually influence what they invest in, but actually, the way in which we can make sure that the investment is actually done in a way that will benefit the countries, not just the oil companies, it's by creating key areas of improvement, key areas of research, the major problems that we want investment to be made on for research. The other one is talking about how will the young professionals actually be involved in this R&D. So definitely it's going to be both ways. There's going to be local local content partnership with the professors on ground. We already have thousands and thousands of proposals through research that we made over the years of possible solutions that can be done in Africa. Then also to abroad, also to did masters abroad and PhDs abroad. They already have international collaborations with other people abroad, in which they can also work with also to solve the unique solutions of Nigeria and Africa. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Also, to further measure the effectiveness.
Okay.
All right, I was going to say that to further measure the effectiveness and accountability of youth-driven R&D projects, it is crucial that we use clear metrics, independent audits, and community engagement. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you for that. I don't think there's a question for Ghana. Was there a question? Okay. I hope Raji, you're satisfied.
Yes, so I think I asked both questions from Port-Harcourt and Ghana as well. So if Ghana picked up on the question or not, I could repeat it.
Ghana, you can take the floor. If you...
Please, Raji. Hello.
Yes, can
Hello,
you
yes,
hear me?
can hear you.
Please, can we get the question again?
So, okay, I was saying, if young professionals are going to be leading local content, which means less reliance on the international community and international companies, right? To what extent can they do that? That's number one. Number two is also if international companies are not going to be influencing some of our local development content and research, right? Then how can we ensure that we develop or we innovate to the level that, you know, some of the infrastructure and systems that we have in place would be useful and effective?
All right. I would steal a point from my opponent when they spoke about Ghana's R&D local content and transfer in technology. So based on, for your second question, Raj, incentivizing most of these investments, and instead of going in for a chunk or a substantial amount of the company's revenue, we could have more of an expert training and expert technology inherited from IECs to the current companies which they inhabit. Secondly, about the to what extent the motion states that if African youth should be given the leading space in these R&D investments. Thank you.
Okay. To the next judge. Cassandra, maybe you can pose your question.
Yes, so my question for Port-Harcourt first is, how can young professionals be effectively integrated into these R&D projects to foster innovation and skill developments?
Port-Harcourt.
Repeat? Okay.
Okay, Port-Harcourt, take the question.
Okay, please, can you come up with the question again?
Yes, so how can young professionals be effectively integrated into these R&D projects to foster innovation and skill developments?
Okay, so young professionals can be integrated, first of all, through trainings. And many young professionals actually have such trainings from their undergraduate down to masters, even down to PhD level. Also, leveraging technology like blockchain and strengthening legal frameworks also helps international collaboration, regular reporting, and incentive for ethical practices are key. Addressing broader governance issues through good governance and strong institutions is essential for sustaining this project. That is, the people, the young professionals, need to have the framework that can make them work effectively. And aside that, they have to be trained properly to be able to work integrated. And they are integrated with the mindset of, they are integrated into the training by attaching them to either a professor or either someone, a research professor, or someone that is in the academic field. So the institution, the academic institutions come into play in this context. Thank you.
Thank you. My question for Ghana is, are there alternative strategies that could be more effective in promoting local R&D without imposing mandates on international companies?
Thank you. Yes, there are alternatives that are possible. First of all, we look at Namibia's local content policy, which offers tax breaks and incentives, and this encourages investment aligned towards national priorities, and in the end, helps YPs. We look at Mauritius, which is praised for its strong governance, and Mauritius has used its incentive-based approach, not such forced mandates, to help young professionals through skill development and talent retention strategies, which is why we are here to say that we are against the motion, because there are other alternatives that are working and that are working in African countries. And so all African countries can adopt such mandate instead of this forced mandate that will not work because of our current situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Then the next judge can pose your questions. Abdul, can you confirm you can hear me? Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay, Walter, maybe you can pose your question if you have a question. Okay. We'll take that as no question from you. Yes, Solale?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so looks like Walter had some network glitch, so he dropped off briefly, but I think he's trying to join back. If you can take like 30 seconds before he joins in. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Solale?
Yes, please. I think we can go ahead from. Yeah, I
Okay.
think we can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I think we're done with the Q&A and the debate part. Now we'll move to the interlude where the judges will get a chance to grade the debate and add marks to it. So they'll move to the breakout room and do that. And with that, the judges are done with their grading, so they can give their remarks on what they think about the debate session. We'll start with Raji. You can give your remarks. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you can give your remarks on what you think about the session.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Rose. Hi, everyone. It was a really close call and good debates from Ghana and Port-Harcourt sections. Really nice to hear both arguments and also get to know what everyone is thinking in terms of, investments, research, and development. I think the only part that's left is, regardless of the winning team, is to also keep thinking about the topic and also trying to do the best you can in your own little way to be an impact in the sector. So, cheers.
Okay, thank you, Raji. And maybe Cassandra, you can share one or two.
So you guys were really good. It was really close. There's just one comment that I want to make, and it's when you're doing the speaking, right? So you guys speak really fast, and I know it's cultural, it's how we speak as well. But when you're presenting, I would like you to slow down a bit or even pause at key points. So that gives the judges and the listeners a time to think. It's very powerful to pause sometimes and leave an impact, especially when you're talking about statistics, or because you guys use a lot of statistics and a lot of references. So it's just something I want you to keep in mind to improve on your presentation skills or improve on the debate. Because when you keep going, it's hard to understand exactly what are the key points or to piece everything together. So when you move forward, try to practice slowing down a bit and pausing between the key points. But congratulations to both team. You guys are awesome today.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I think Walter is not back yet, so we'll continue.
I'm back here. Sorry about the glitch.
Awesome.
My feedback is just that it's a good initiative from SPYP Africa to have this dialogue. At least the only thing, like I spoke to Wale when we met 2 weeks ago, I told him this. We want senior folks to listen to arguments like this, how this can impact the continent and where we can have more channel our investments on, because that's the ultimate goal. Even having all this back and forth debate, but the main thing is the mindset and how you can get support from key stakeholders overall. So yeah, but good one and very, very good dialogue from everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And now on to the next part, the scoreboard. And based from what the judges have decided, Port-Harcourt and Ghana, that's your marks. Port-Harcourt got 78.7%, while Ghana got 81.7%, which means Ghana are our winners for today. So kudos to that. Congratulations for both teams for presenting well and posing a good argument. It was amazing and we learned a lot. So thank you, both of the teams. And now the announcements. The next debate session will be Uganda versus Wari. And the Uganda versus Wari, Uganda will be for the debate, while Wari will be against the debate. And the theme, the topic will be African governments should implement policies that reserve a certain percentage of leadership positions in energy and sustainability, decision-making bodies for young professionals to drive inclusivity. And now we'll go to the vote of thanks from Lawale. You can unmute and say one or two.
Okay, thank you very much, Rose. Please confirm you can see me or you can hear me from this point.
Yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's been about 3 hours, I think 3 hours exactly, that we've been on this call from the first set of debates of the quarterfinals today to this particular one. And it's been a lot of information, a lot of insights, a lot of discussions that actually have everyone contribute to the discourse around Africa Energy's pathway and all of that. So a big thanks to all of our judges for today. We had 5 judges today, and at least the participants could attest to the fact that we had a lot of experience locked in to review the submissions by each of the sections. And to the moderators, Emanuela and also Rose, thank you again for standing in and also for ensuring the debate is as seamless as it has always been. So at this point, we've wrapped up the 2 matches, the first 2 matches in the quarterfinals. We're looking forward to the next one. And I also use this opportunity to say big congratulations to the 4 sections today, the Lagos, the Benin, Port-Harcourt, and Ghana. All the 2 matches today were very close, but there has to be a winner. So it doesn't mean that you didn't do your best. I'm sure you did your best, but it was just down to the numbers at the end. So, but thanks a lot for contributing, for discussion, and I actually like the energy in the room. And I think that's what we bring to the table as young professionals discussing around the energy and the pathway to building the Africa that we want. And so also using this opportunity to announce that NAIS is at the corner. We are just about 3 months to NAIS, and a lot of activities is being planned for the young professionals. So let's admit that even outside Nigeria, we'd like to have you. The debate finals will be happening here in Nigeria. So we are looking forward to have everyone being around for August. And that would be all from my hand. Thank you very much. And to the leadership and to the committee behind this, say thank you to every one of you. And I say let's enjoy the rest of our evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Lale. So with that, I'm going to thank you all for joining this debate, and thank you for anyone who engaged with us. Much appreciated, and I wish you the best. Have a happy Sunday.